Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Hello and welcome to Fresh Take from What Fresh Hell, laughing in the face of motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy. Today we're talking to Gabrielle Blair. She is the founder of DesignMom.com and the author of the New York Times blockbuster bestseller, Ejaculate Responsibly. Today we're talking about Gabrielle's new book, co-written with her husband, Ben Blair. The Kids Are All Right, Parenting with Confidence in an Uncertain World. Gabrielle and Ben are the parents of 6 children and currently live in Normandy, France. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here.
You're kind of like Margaret and me in that your kids are older. They're not little anymore. We like to say we come from the future to tell you everything's going to be okay. And this book, just like all that, this book is a course correction that offers a really hopeful reframing, I think, of what it means to parent today. Is that what you set out to accomplish with this book?
Absolutely. You've been in the mom blog space for a million years. I know you guys know the deal. I've been doing this for 18 years, and the entire 18 years has been parenting questions from readers and followers, and they're just stressed out. Parents are so stressed out, and so much media aimed at parents is really pushing that stress. Like, you're supposed to be stressed out. If you're not stressed out, your kids are not going to successfully make it to adulthood. And I know you guys have seen the same thing. And so the intention of this book, we kind of got talked into doing a parenting book. It was not like on my goal list or anything. And we kind of got talked into it. And really the only thing that made me feel like, okay, yeah, I really want to do this is if I could in any way relieve parenting stress, if I could help someone feel less anxious about these decisions that I understand feel extremely high stakes because we're talking about a human being. We're talking about raising a whole other person. So I get the high stakes nature of it. But after you've parented for as long as I have and gotten 5 of our 6 to adulthood so far, the youngest is 14, you can really look back and understand like, oh, so much of our worry was completely not just a waste of time, but also damaging our relationship with our kids.
And I think it's important, and I like that you acknowledge right away that we aren't nervous and feeling stressed about this because we're idiots or because we're dummies or because we're just too into ourselves and we're just spoiled. It's because we have been given a job, as were our ancestors and foremothers and everyone before us, that is very, very important and is filled with a tremendous amount of uncertainty and does have uncalculable dangers that are lurking there. And so it is, because I think some of the writing around motherhood can default a little bit to like, just calm down, Mom, you're so uptight and it's all your fault. And it's like, wait a minute, I like to start by acknowledging that this is as hard as you think it is. This is as scary as you think it is. But I think the knobs of control are what we try to focus on, because a lot of times we're trying to correct for stuff that maybe we're on the wrong path of, or maybe we just don't have any control over. So we can let it go because it's not helpful.
Right. And I really hate this whole idea that we're blaming parents for the stress that they're feeling. I really strongly believe that the bulk of parenting stress, or the hardest parts about parenting, have nothing to do with our personal decisions and our systemic issues. We don't have paid childcare. We don't have universal basic income. We don't have flexible work schedules that accommodate parenting. Like, there's so many issues that make parenting even harder than it would naturally be. Because again, it's this high stakes thing. We're raising a human being, but our culture makes it exponentially harder in so many ways. And so if you're feeling this stress as a parent, I feel like I start out, one of the first messages in the book is, it's not your fault. The fact that this is so hard is not your fault. This is a systemic issue more than a personal issue. You're not wrong. And it's not a personal weakness if you're like, I wish I had more help. This is really hard. That's not a personal weakness. That is like, yeah, you should have more help. This whole idea that we've created this culture where we're all parenting in isolation is just absolutely bizarre. And again, makes things so much more difficult than it needs to be. And yet this is our reality. And we're all having to navigate this.
The way that you have parented your kids and the paths that they have chosen educationally are divergent from the norm and from one another. But I think it gives you sort of the unique ability to be a voice of there is no one path. So tell us a little bit about your family for people who might not know you and your kids.
Absolutely. So parents of 6, as has been mentioned, our oldest is 27, youngest is 14. And really our kids kind of span Gen Z. So I feel like I've been raising Gen Z from, top to bottom. And yeah, a very different educational path for each of our kids, and yet really successful paths. That if you're interested in things like top schools, top colleges, that's been part of our lives. But we've also had high school dropouts and skipping senior year to move across the ocean and be an au pair, and missing of very few graduation ceremonies in our family, even though we've had lots of people finish college and finish high school because they've just taken these bizarre paths. And we talk a lot in the book. A recurring theme in the book is the reliable path to success. And I call it the myth of the reliable path to success. And it is sold hard in America. We go hard on everyone's got to get on this path. And you know what it looks like? It's, okay, get signed up for preschool as soon as the kid is born because you've got to get in the right preschool. And if you don't get in the right preschool, what's going to happen if you don't get in the right elementary school? And then by the time you get to high school, you've got to take the right AP classes. You've got to be in the right sports. Is your kid playing an instrument? Like, you've got to be on top of all of that in order to apply to the top colleges, because that is what a successful life is. And we're really fed that hard, and it's pushed so hard. And a lot of parenting stress is when we see our kids go off that path in any way. They came home with bad grades. They're not on the reliable path to success. They didn't get into the school they were hoping for. They didn't get the internship. They're off the reliable path. And there's such a draw, which I totally understand. I've been drawn to it. We had to basically be physically taken off it before I could really let it go, because we don't have a parenting guidebook. We don't have an instruction manual. And so this reliable path to success idea is just so compelling. It's like, okay, it takes care of everything for me. If I just keep the kids on this path, they'll be fine. Everything will work out. And of course, it's a lie. It is in fact a myth. I don't know how reliable it ever was, but it certainly isn't now. We all know kids who were top of their class, graduated valedictorian, got a perfect score on the SAT, and still didn't get into their top pick college. There is no guarantee. And even if they did go to the college, there may not be a job, because the jobs are changing so fast. The future's changing so fast that the field they're interested in, say they're super into journalism, we don't know how many journalism jobs are going to be left. They're dwindling swiftly, which I mentioned in the book makes me sad. Like, we need journalists, but I'm just saying the world is changing so fast that even careers that seem so reliable just aren't anymore. And so relying on this reliable path to success, not really helpful overall, but also can be extremely harmful, because we're pushing these kids, this wide variety of kids, onto this one path and saying, you've got to fit this path. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit for so many of the kids. And instead, what we've learned is, there's literally millions of paths to satisfying, successful, fulfilling adulthood. Millions of paths. And all you've got to do is just find a path that fits your kid. You don't have to fit your kid to a path. you can find a path that fits your kid. And that's not to say like, oh, you don't ever have to worry about anything. You don't have to do it. Like,
they're feral. Let them raise themselves in the woods. Not quite there. Yeah.
Right. You have to seek out opportunities. You have to sort of say, okay, if this high school isn't working for them, what is? If my kid's not going to get into a good college, what are the alternatives? Can they try community college? Is there an internship? Is there a trade school? You certainly have to look at other opportunities, but you don't have to just assume my kid's only going to be happy and I'm only going to be a successful parent if I keep to this reliable path to success.
And I wonder even about, I like the idea of many paths, but the idea that you have to find the right path for your kid is also, I think sometimes you have to just support your kid while they try a bunch of paths. Like, I think even we have less of a role than even finding the path and putting them on it.
Absolutely. It's really looking at the kid in front of you, actually listening and looking at this person in front of you, not yourself as a kid, not imagining that they're going through what you went through. They're a different person, not imagining some kid you thought you would have, but this actual person in front of you and supporting what they need. So some of these kids are going to be like, I've found 30 different paths and this is the ones I'm interested in. And you can say, okay, well, my job is to help you narrow it down. And other kids are going to be like, yeah, I don't even know where to start. And you're like, oh, you need more guidance. Great. Let's hit the library or internet or talk to other adults or whatever might work. We had a daughter come to us. She's like the most involved high school person, captain of the cross country team, great grades, just so involved, and come to us the summer before senior year and say, yeah, I don't want to do a senior year. I'd like to move to France and be an au pair. This is out of the blue. Just like, what in the world? But it had a full plan, knew the family she was going to au pair for, knew the arrangements, where she would live, what it would cost, had this whole plan. And we're looking and we're going, she knows what high school is. She's a great student. She's reliable. She's, there's nothing about her that we're worried about. Okay, we should take this seriously. This is something she has really thought hard about and wants to do, even though it's new to us. And it's, again, listening to the kid that's in front of you. And I can tell you that daughter went on to graduate from Berkeley. Just because she stepped off the path didn't mean her life is over. It's all destroyed, which I know it can feel like that anytime they step off the path, but it's just not true.
We're talking to Gabrielle Blair, and her new book with her husband, Ben Blair, is The Kids Are All Right. And we'll be right back. Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that, taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code free. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com.
Gabrielle, I wanted to go back to that story you were telling before about the valedictorian perfect scores who didn't get into her dream school and is devastated. And it occurred to me as you were saying that the devastation is optional. It exists because she, this imaginary girl, and her parents were focused on this reliable path to success. And I think, again, they're not making it up. They're not bad parents that are making things harder than she probably ED'd the school. And there was a lot of focus put on that because you're told to do that. And then this ridiculously restricted outcome that doesn't really matter for her success is really important in the moment. And then it causes pain. And then it causes disruption between that kid and her parents. That was optional. That didn't have to exist. So talk to us about how the reliable path to success gets between you and your kids.
So one of the things that we don't talk about in parenting, and it really just doesn't come up, and I understand why, is that you're going to be a parent to a kid that's 18 plus way longer than you were a parent to a kid that was under 18, right? Like you're going to have a relationship, assuming you both live to a ripe old age, you're going to have a relationship for another 40, 60, 80 years. People are living a long time. And so obviously the literature, our focus as parents is really laser focused on those first 18 years for very obvious reasons. Those are intense years. They're physically intense. They're mentally intense. That's when there's so much of this person is forming and growing. Totally understand. But you don't want to just ignore those future 40, 60 years. And your stress with your kids right now, the stress you have with your kids right now, pushing them to a path or having like expectations that, again, are not even really built in reality at all, that they can't really live up to and may not even understand what those expectations are, can do just real damage. And there's a trend I see, I don't know if it's a trend or if it will be long lasting, but I see it on social media a lot where now adult kids are basically ostracizing their family or saying, no, they're cutting ties with their families because the relationship was so stressful and difficult. And that would just, I can't imagine anything more heartbreaking, right? I just can't even picture how devastating that would be. And yet I understand where these kids are coming from. You listen to these parents talk and you think, yeah, I don't want to hang out at your house. You're not saying nice things to me. You're not encouraging me. You don't believe that I'm a good person. You seem to really dislike me as a person. And so then I'm thinking, how do I do the opposite of that? Basically, like, how do I make sure our home is a home base for my kids forevermore, however long they need it. If they need to come back at 25, at 30, at 35, whenever, that this is a place they would want to be, that they feel loved and supported here, that they feel respected, that they have autonomy, that it wouldn't be a bad thing to be home, especially for certainly holidays, visits. We want them home as much as they want to be home. But also because, again, we have this very uncertain future in front of us. And the idea that your kids could just move out and get their own apartment and just be independent forevermore will work for some people and just won't for a lot of people because it's a different world now.
Well, I think that relying on the path, staying on that reliable path to success is a lot of hard work. And you also say like, it has to be hard all the time. It has to be super hard all the time, right? Locking it down. And that can actually really be counterproductive to your relationship with your kid.
Totally. And totally unnecessary. And we know that we're so compelled by this reliable path to success. And yet we know it's not true because we talk to other adults, right? As adults, we talk to other adults. And every one of us can think of people in our lives who are very happy, well-adjusted adults who did not follow this reliable path to success. They did not go to a prep school. They did not go to a fancy college. Maybe they didn't go to college at all. They took a million different paths, and yet they found fulfilling adulthood. And so we know that it's not the only path. But again, it feels just so compelling because it feels so safe. It feels so, if I just keep to this path, that somehow all the other parenting stress will dissolve. And it's not true, because forcing this kid to a path that may or may not fit them, and in most cases won't fit them because people are so different, doesn't relieve parenting stress. It causes more parenting stress. You're just butting heads with this kid who's like, I know you want me to play the piano. I don't understand why, and I don't like it. Like, why I don't like to play the piano. Why am I doing this? And really just get frustrated.
Well, and I think our lens, Amy and I both live in the Northeast US, and there's a lot of focus, I think, particularly in this area, on four-year colleges, particular names of colleges. And I think as I travel around and have family in different areas of the country, the expectations can be very different. I mean, there may be places where there's less of an expectation to go to four-year colleges, and there's more of an expectation to join the right branch of the military or quarterback the football team. And there's no one who is free of these expectations, although our expectations may be different depending on our backgrounds. And so where is the line, though? And how do we think about it in terms of, I don't want my child to be locked into anything, but I might have certain children who I'm concerned are not doing enough, who are coming home, spending a couple too many hours on screens, are happy, content. I'm not talking about a depressed kid who's locked in their room, but just I worry that you don't seem to have an interest. And I don't know that it's because I need you to go to Harvard and therefore I need you to be running the 86 different clubs, but I still have a feeling that you should be doing a little bit more than you are. And that's right. Maybe just not hanging out on Roblox with your friends, which you seem, by the way, really happy doing.
It's good. It's really fun.
You're loving life. Yeah. I'm not worried about you, but should I be worried about the bigger picture, even though I don't maybe care what that picture looks like?
So I would argue that no, that this voice in your head that's like, hey, maybe they should be more ambitious. Maybe something should be happening here, is our American weird morality around working. And if you are not ambitious and you are not busy and you are not working all the time, that you are somehow less moral. You're less of a good person. And again, we know that's not true. We know that's not true, but it is so compelling in our culture that it's hard to let it go. You know if your kid is thriving. And if they're thriving for them may not look very busy. Okay, great. And just because they're not busy now or not particularly passionate about something now doesn't mean they won't be in the future. That's not how that works. I'm passionate about certain things sometimes and not other times. That's just, I guess, human nature, right? Where our interests wax and wane. If your kid seems happy and they're growing and thriving and you really don't have any worries, I don't think we need to say, we should probably add in one more extracurricular. We need to just do one more thing. They're happy and not stressed out. Why are we changing that? Why are we messing with that? That's terrific. And it doesn't translate to this is what their adult life will look like. It doesn't translate to, well, they'll probably just live in our basement and, be high all the time if they're not really busy right now. That's not a path. I mean, that's not your kid seems well adjusted in high school, so therefore, and not stressed out, so therefore they're going to be a loser as an adult. It's not a thing. And so, what does the loser as an adult mean? What is it that is in your head as successful adult? And again, this is where we have to look at the adults around us and go, okay, there's a lot of different people that I consider successful. There's a lot of different people that I consider happy. And my kid could take any of these paths. It's going to be okay.
I love that answer. That's a very radical answer, I think. I mean, I think it's really interesting, and I mean that in a good way. But I feel like when we have these discussions between Amy and myself, just talking things out, it feels like, I think my childhood, if we were home, we were playing baseball with the neighbors, we were out and about, we were doing things. I do worry that free time becomes screen time and that screen time is a net negative. So if I felt they're just home reading books, I feel sometimes I'm fighting the screens. I'm not just fighting the nothingness. So what do you think about that? Because I like the answer of don't add anything if they're happy, but I do feel that I think I can get on board with not being busy is morally neutral and like hanging out is totally fine, but I don't think I can get on board with like 6 hours of Roblox is morally neutral.
I understand. So screen time is this thing, and we're all having to learn how to manage it. And it's not just our kids, it's our own phones. We're all trying to figure out like how much is too much, what's okay. What if my job is literally Instagram, which is my job right now? How do you manage that? Every human being is trying to figure this out right now. Phones are universal to 8 billion people. Okay, if screens aren't going away, what can we do in our family to make screens constructive, creative, and like where I'm not sad about it? Because if my kid is reading on their Kindle and they're getting screen time reading Adam Green Gables, I'm fine with that. If they are FaceTiming with their cousins, awesome, love it, so happy about that. If they are learning a new tutorial on YouTube on how to make 3D lettering, on the iPad, amazing, fantastic. I'm so glad they've got that. There's so much that can be constructive. And can we waste our time on screens? For sure. So if there's an actual worry, you have to deal with that. Like if you've got a kid that's not getting enough sleep and you're like, I think screens are the issue. Okay, well, there's plenty of things you can do. You can make the charging station in the parent's bedroom. They check in their screen at night. They pick it up fully charged in the morning. But you may discover that your kid is still not getting enough sleep because it wasn't the screen. It was they're having some stress with a friend at school, or like they're having growing pains and they're in actual pain. And the screen was like helping them like fall asleep. So you have to really think about like, what is my fear around screens? Is it bullying? Okay, then we can deal with that. We can talk about what that looks like, help them avoid it. The idea that we're going to constantly be fearful and have anxiety about screens helps no one. It helps no one. It doesn't make the screens go away. I do compare it to the kids I knew in the 80s who their parents wouldn't allow them to watch TV. I'm sure you knew some too. And I don't know that the kids, now adults, consider that a benefit or a positive. What I saw was they felt like they weren't up to date on social things, like what were the SNL sketches or what was happening on TV shows, and that anytime they were in anyone else's home, they were just like glued to the TV.
Glued in, right. Get me closer to it.
Yeah, the TV was just like treasure. And if you're forbidding your kids screens right now, that's what it's going to look like. As soon as they're out of your sight, they're going to be like on their friend's phone because it's this forbidden thing. And I also just I watch the kids, I see Gen Z, I don't know Gen Alpha very well, but I see Gen Z, and they know screens are dumb. They'll put their own time limits on their screen, or they'll get together with friends and they'll stack all their screens in the corner and be like, no, we're just doing board games tonight. We don't have to use screens. Like they know, and they see us do the same thing where we're like, I don't even want to touch my phone for 24 hours. I'm putting it away. I just I need a break. They feel it too. We're all dealing with this. This is not a kid only thing. The entire world is dealing with this.
We're talking to Gabrielle Blair, and her new book is The Kids Are All Right, and we'll be right back.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes, at the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today and let us surprise you.
Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. Gabrielle, it seems like there's a paradox here, but there isn't when you start to talk in the book about intentionality around your family life, because you were at the same time very much, there is no one reliable path. I'm not going to lock my kid down, but I am going to actually design our home to create the family life that we want to have. So you can be intentional, you're saying, not about where your kid's going to go to college, but what your evenings at home are going to look like. So tell us about that, about how you can design a home to move towards the goals that you have as a family.
Absolutely. So we tackle this a few ways in the book, and one of them is the actual physical space of your home, and some of it is being intentional about your family culture, because you're constantly creating a culture. As far as like a physical space, think of your home, or we find it helpful to think of our home as like, this is another parenting tool. It can lend itself to good specific activities. It can lend itself to specific conversations. And if there are specific activities or conversations that we wish were happening in our home and they're not, how can we change our physical space so that they are? And one of the examples we give is we like music in our family, and we're not trying to raise concert pianists or anything, but we love like a good jam session, good family jam session, singing songs, playing guitar, someone's got drumsticks or whatever. And we tried to implement these over the years, and we got better at it just by like intentionally trying to get better at it. So it used to be kind of a hassle. You'd have to get the guitars out of the cases. We didn't have the right technology yet. So you're like having to print out sheet music for people to try. And the harder it is, the more rare it is. Like you're just not going to do it. Who's got the time? So over the years, we figured out things like we need crappier guitars, which is, I know, counterintuitive, but like I need a guitar that I don't need to keep in a case, that if the kid bangs it around or scratches it, I do not care because we got it for $20 at the garage sale. That's what we need. Like we want more jam sessions. We need really accessible instruments, which might mean they're not good. Okay, fine. Like they're good enough. We kept looking for better technology. We've finally figured it out. We would improve slightly over the years. Right now, we can, from our phone, project the chords and the lyrics onto our TV so everyone in the room can see it. And then we can all participate together. We don't have to print out any sheet music because, of course, the printer's rarely working, like all those kind of hassle things. We just tried to eliminate the hassle. So now when you want to do a jam session, there is no case. The guitar is like hanging on the wall from a ribbon, nothing precious. There's other instruments. It's all accessible. In 30 seconds, you can have it on the phone. You can have every song in your world at your fingertips. And now we do jam sessions all the time, and it's terrific, and it's everything we wanted. But we had to really change our house and change the way we worked in order to make that happen. So really think about what conversations you wish you were having. And if you were like, I really wish we were talking more about world events. Okay, like next to the dinner table, hang a map of the world. And on the coffee table, what kind of books do you have out that would encourage questions about current events or what's happening in the world? It's not magic. It's like, how do you make this room so that the activity you want to happen is almost the default? It's going to happen. If you're like, I wish we were doing more reading. Okay, how do you make the coziest reading room ever that has lamps in all the exact places and a little place to hold your teacup and a cozy blanket at reach? What do you need to do there to make it so that you walk in this room and you're like, I'm going to read. I can't help but read. This is a reading. Like, it just feels like I want to read, All the books they would want are right at their eye level, that you're just like, these are physical things we can do in our home. And then it's also a family culture thing, meaning we're forming our family culture every moment of every day, whether we want to or not. This is just what we're doing. And so we find it valuable to take a minute and do a mental exercise where you say, okay, in 5 years from now, if I was asking a dear family friend to describe our family, what do you notice about our family? What are we into? What are we like? What's kind of the personality of our family? What would you want them to say? How do you want to be described? And then if that's kind of the map, that's the end goal, that's the destination, what do you need to do to get there? And if it's like, well, I want to be described as a family who's like really a community builder. Okay, well, maybe you need to sign up to set up apartments for refugees. What's a community building thing your family can do? But it's not magic. Like what you want your family culture to be, you can choose that and cultivate that. And one of the things that was important to us is I wanted us to work together well on meaningful projects and not be afraid of hard physical work or dirty, like we got to clean out the garage kind of work. And so we have cultivated that over the year and tried to make those kinds of activities really positive. And we talk a lot about that in the book, but it's very doable. You can, without controlling your kids' futures, you can make your family culture and your home very intentional to create a home base that they'll love.
Now, Do you have 100% buy-in on the jam sessions? What I'm thinking is like, I love the idea. My husband grew up in a family of singers. His mom was the choir director. They grew up singing. They would sing at the tree lighting. They were the family singers. And I think his brother was about maybe 12 when he announced, and they quote him all the time, "I am not like you people. I want no part of this." And it's so funny. Like I don't know if he can sing or not, but he was like, "I do never want to be at another tree lighting or a caroling event or singing of the national anthem when they open the baseball season. Get me out of here." And so is there like an opt-out clause? Because I can see for one of my kids, the family jam session would be like, I'll be in the backyard pulling out my fingernails. Like I can't think of anything I want to do less.
Yeah, no, thank you. For sure. For sure, you're trying to come up with activities that there is buy-in. Of course, you're trying to come up with things and you have to test them out. Like you have to try them. Before we even had kids, I introduced holiday journal. We're going to write down like, this is what the tree looked like. And this was like where we traveled or, if we went to see grandma for Christmas or, whatever, just sort of like a little couple pages about the holidays that year. And then I started having kids and I was like, this is the dumbest tradition. I don't have time for this. I don't have energy. Like I hate this. But then my kids found it when they were old enough to start writing and reading. They loved it. I don't know if I've ever updated it in 20 years. They started doing it and they loved it. So you try things and you see if it takes. And it might not. It might have been like, it died with me. I didn't like it. The kids weren't like, fine. Okay, you tried it and it didn't work. I introduced a tradition that didn't work. Big deal. But if it takes off, delightful, wonderful. And if everyone in the family, or even if there were a few people in the family that were like, I really don't like these jam sessions, I'm sure we wouldn't do them as much, right? And even with jam sessions, if you're like, yeah, I don't have 100% buy-in, but I can make it better for this one that's like not that into it if we play these songs, or if we do it at, after dinner at this certain time, they're in a good mood. We can get 15 minutes out of them before they're like, I'm out. I'm going to go sit in my room now or whatever. Like, see what you can do to help create buy-in. But you're trying to create a situation where they like hanging out together. They like being together. So you're looking for activities where you're like, oh, look, we're all together and this is good. How do we do more of this? For us, that works for jam sessions. I know it's not going to work for every family, and I certainly wouldn't force it on the kids if they were not into it at all.
Can I ask a question about, because this really opened up my mind, that you can, as a homeowner and a home creator, replace irritating things that you interact with all the time that irritate you every time you interact with them, that you can change them. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so I think this is like probably the easiest tip that I come back to over and over again. These little irritating things in your life, like you stub your toe on this corner of the couch that sticks out too far every morning, that kind of thing. And it seems like, of course, it's not a big deal. You just stubbed your toe, but it adds up and you end up, I don't want to co-opt microaggressions, but it's as if your home is like microaggressing, you right, with these little things.
That couch is out to get you.
Right. And it does have an effect. Like you stub your toe, you just cussed, you're like now kind of grumpy, you're off to make breakfast for the kids and you're already in a bad mood. And like, okay, move the couch, rearrange the room so it's not stubbing your toe, find a different path, set things up so you're like, never go that way. So you're like, oh, I naturally go this way, or replace the couch if it comes to that. These little things add up, and a couch is like a big piece of furniture. So that's maybe not even a great example, but we do it with like our trash cans. You have the trash can that has a broken lid. It's irritating every time, you push the pedal and it doesn't come up. Like, fix it or replace it. Like, it's just going to bug you every time and you're going to be so angry. Or even if maybe it's something that works well, but it's ugly and you hate it. Your dustpan has a big crack in it and it's like, it's fine. It's still functional, but you just hate it. Like, okay, well, we do not have to invest, $100,000 into making your house function better. We're talking about like, you can get a $10 dustpan. It's going to be okay. You can do some of these simple things that will improve your home functionally, but also improve your mood, improve your relationship with your kids because you're just not grumpy at them because you interacted with this thing you hate. And I know it sounds dumb. It sounds like there's no way that works. It absolutely works. It absolutely works. Try it anywhere in your house. Improve anything that's irritating you, whatever it is, and you're going to see a marked improvement in how you feel about things and how you're interacting with your family members.
We've been talking to Gabrielle Blair. Her new book, co-written with her husband, Ben, is The Kids Are All Right, Parenting with Confidence in an Uncertain World. Gabrielle, you do so many different things, so tell our listeners where they can find you, your book, and everything you do.
Absolutely. I'm most active on Instagram and Threads at Design Mom. I'm still mourning beloved Twitter. And I also run a conference if you're into I want to, be a creative entrepreneur, influencer, creator, something called Alt Summit, and you can come to that. But yeah, find me online.
This has been such a good conversation. I really appreciate it. And we will link, of course, in the show notes to everywhere you can find the book and Gabrielle's work.
Thanks for being with us today, Gabrielle.
Margaret, Amy, this was amazing. I loved your questions. Thank you so much.